oh my gosh, I'm 30 something, I need to get pregnant. Now you attached to a food for the rest of your life. Go freeze your eggs. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Let's talk egg freezing. As of March, I've started an egg freezing journey. I want to share everything I know, what it is, what it isn't, cost, storage, what tests do you have to take, what the risks are. If I know it, I want to share it. But first things first, I need to give a disclaimer. I am not a medical professional, okay? I specialize in hair growth, hair flips, automotive industry, public speaking, communications, presentations, moderating panels. She's not a doctor. So this is the patient perspective. Millennials really just aren't having kids like generations before us. And if we are having kids, we're having them a lot later in life, which is prompting many of us to turn to egg freezing. Egg freezing has increased by 40%. I was on a bit of a I don't want kids kick, but I just, what they do exactly, I'm still, This year I've now come around to the idea of it, which is what prompted me to freeze my eggs. Egg freezing is a process of extracting and preserving, literally freezing your eggs in their current state so that they can be used later on in life when getting pregnant may be a little more difficult. So hopefully I'm exaggerating here, but let's just say I'm 40 and I decide, it's finally time to settle down and have a kid. That biological clock is ticking, right? So at 40, that's not the ideal time. Some people can effortlessly have healthy babies, but majority of us probably can't. So I will be able to reach into the freezer, grab my 34-year-old eggs, unthaw them, fertilize them with my man's manhood, let it bake. It turns into an embryo and would implant my 40-year-old body with 34-year-old eggs. I honestly think I'd have my first child naturally. However, it's definitely nice to have this in my back pocket as a contingency plan. In the event I wanted to have a baby on down the line, 38, 39, 40, I'd be a little more comfortable with my chances if I were using 34-year-old eggs, personally. I don't want my biological clock to affect my decision making. Like, I want to continue to be able to live life on my terms and do what's best for me. So for me, this is the best decision. Per the tests I've taken, and I'll get to this in a second, but per the tests I've taken, there's nothing wrong with anything down there. I could absolutely walk out the door today and go have a baby. Fertility is looking fine. But the fertility is looking 34. Ideally, this is actually something you want to do before you hit 35. To be honest, I'm even a year or two off from when I probably should have done it. Again, this is not too late. To quote my doctor, she was saying that people kind of confuse what egg freezing is. Like, a lot of us haven't been exposed to it, so we don't know how it works, and we think it's something to do because you can't have kids. So she said, unfortunately, this is a conversation we had at 32 during my annual. She said, Kristen, people are coming in my office at 39, 40 years old saying, hey, I want to freeze my eggs because I want to have a baby. Because she said, people your age aren't really having them. I'm having that unfortunate conversation to say it's too late. Not that it's impossible. There are a handful of people who could do it, but the average 40-year-old woman, it's like that ship has sailed, unfortunately. But I don't want to discourage anyone. Dang, she said I shouldn't do it. No, I did not. No, I did not. Let your doctor confirm whether you should or not. So I'll caution you, for anyone who is curious about this process, Google 3 different articles, talk to 3 different specialists, you will be told 3 different things. You have to take a couple tests to confirm your fertility, to officially begin the process, and or I think to guide the fertility specialist to know what they're working with exactly. So one is called the anti-Müllerian hormone test, which is essentially your likelihood of getting pregnant. The average woman ranges between 1 and 3. My doctor said she prefers to see her patients be between 2 and 3. I'm at about 1.5. I was going to a completely different specialist. So let me walk you through my real timeline here. So in March, I had my first appointment with this other doctor. I guess it's common sense that I should have got off birth control, but I didn't think to do that. So, according to my first doctor, she preferred to see your egg count be between 4 and 6. While on birth control, I had an ultrasound, which detected 7, where was it 8? 7 or 8 eggs. So we're going through the health screening. When was your last period? Have you had any major surgeries? Are you on birth control? Yes. She was like, she turned around, she said, oh, you're on birth control. I'm like, yeah. She said, well, how long have you been on birth control? For a long time. I asked to be on birth control before I was even active. She was like, oh. Yeah, so the 7 I'm looking at on the screen, she said, yeah, this probably isn't right. What happens is your birth control suppresses your ability to see all of your eggs because obviously it's trying to prevent you from getting pregnant. So she said, get off birth control, come back. And then let's do an ultrasound again. We'll at least be closer to your real egg count. So when I called back, homegirl, the office disappeared off the face of the earth. Why is this lady not answering the phone? I made a reel about this, but she asked me could she use it, and I was like, sure, I don't care. She's here to serve, absolutely. Use it. And so I go to her page. This is Yandy and Mendici's doctor. I had no idea that that's who she was. Urge the wise, when you live in Atlanta, you never want to go to anybody who is a celebrity's doctor. Celebrity's anything. For everyone's trying to go to them for clout. Not answering the phone, customer service was iffy. I was like, yeah, she gotta go. We done. We done, Miss Lady. We done. I find another Black woman, OBGYN. She has been great. Now that I've been off birth control, I had my second ultrasound and they now see 10 eggs. Woot woot. She prefers to see her patients be between 10 and 20, and I'm right at 10. I will probably get this done in July. So by July, again, maybe naturally just being off of birth control, my egg count will continue to rise a little bit. We'll see. I don't suspect it will be over 15. This is really basically a numbers game. And you want to start out with as many eggs as possible. So let's just say nothing changes. Right now, my body is making 10 eggs each month. What I can do, if I want, is go through this process multiple times to essentially bank as many eggs as I can. I don't know that I'm going to do that. I don't know. We'll see. But we'll see. The reason why it is suggested that you go through more than one round, although I'm probably not, is because you want to bank as many eggs as possible. Because as you go through each step, you're going to lose eggs. Here's how the odds work. And these might not be the exact odds. This is for demonstrative purposes. So let's just say you start with 10 eggs. Well then, let's say at 38, I circle back around and say, hey, let's pull those 34-year-old eggs out of the freezer to begin the IVF process. Okay, they unthaw them and only 8 make it. Then they have to fertilize those eggs with my husband's sperm to turn them into embryos. Well, that only works for 6. Then they have to implant them. But that only works for a certain amount. You see what I'm saying? So you want to start out with as many as you possibly can so that you can make it to having a baby. And for my doctor, she's saying, hey, I always want my patients to have the best chances, and she wants them to start with that 10 to 20. If I don't reach that 10 to 20, she would really prefer me to do it again. I literally just warmed up to wanting kids at like the end of the year last year. And I really only want one. So realistically, again, this is a backup plan for me. I might not use this. I might not even circle back to these eggs, lady. We doing this once and I'm gonna go on my merry way. And I'm not, no. She was like, you know what, Kristen? Looking at your tests and looking at all the tests we've run so far, there are no problems with your fertility, but you are 34. Just being transparent. It's given 34. But there's no reason why you couldn't walk out the door and have a kid tomorrow, right? So for that reason, I don't know that I would do this more than once. We'll see. We'll see. What else? So supplements. So to try to boost my fertility for the process, to ensure that we're harvesting the best quality eggs I can make, I started taking 2 supplements my doctor suggested, DHEA and coenzyme Q10. The next step for me will be a genetic carrier screening test. It will actually be tomorrow morning, bright and early, 7:30. So this tests if I carry any genetic disorders, like, and some of them can even be recessive. For example, you may not even know someone in your family has these, like cystic fibrosis or sickle cell.
So like I was saying, you were tested for 558 different recessive genetic conditions. It turns out you're just a carrier of 2. Like I said, that's super common. All we want to make sure that you do is when you are ready to use your eggs, when you either have a reproductive partner or if you do decide to use a sperm donor at some point, we just want to make sure that the other reproductive partner is tested for the same 2 conditions that you were tested positive for. As long as they are not a carrier for either one of these conditions, this isn't an issue at all.
Okay. I wanted to talk timing. From what I know, you give yourself these shots, right? They mature the 10 eggs in my stomach. So the 10 eggs in my stomach are going to grow. It's going to make me look kind of bloated. And then from what my doctor said, about 2 weeks after that, the bloating will subside. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have noticed my face is broke out. You can't, this camera's got me looking flawless. But my face is tore up right now. So here's what happened. I have eczema and I went to the Dominican Republic, and initially I thought what I saw was heat rash. So I'm putting like eczema medicine on my face. It's not clearing up. Then I said, you know what? Maybe I've been drinking too much pop. The texture. Put that Coke down and drink some water. Drink nothing but water for 5 days straight. My face is still a mess. Wash my makeup brushes. Face is still a mess. And it finally clicked. Oh yeah, you got off of birth control. When you Google what are the side effects of getting off of birth control, it's literally the first one. So I'm fine with my personal content being a little bumpy right now. However, when it's sponsored content, now I'm a little annoyed. Full disclosure, until the end of July, it's gonna be a little bumpy over here. It's a side effect that I am willing to accept. I'm gonna do what I have to keep doing what I wanna do. To each their own. One might say, oh, I don't feel like dealing with all that stuff. And that's fine, just don't do it. But her, she gonna keep doing what she wanna do. We not getting pregnant by Joe Schmo because our biological clock is ticking. Oh my gosh, I'm 30 something, I need to get pregnant. Now you attached to a food for the rest of your life. Go freeze your eggs. I know I'm just a really practical person, but there are risks associated with every decision we make. Having a baby is a risk. Your body may never bounce back. Did you not experience symptoms when you were pregnant? There was nausea, morning sickness, heartburn. Probably affected your career. It probably affected your discretionary income, time, energy, travel. So I feel you, but I don't. I'm dealing with the acne right now, and I know that when I give myself the shots next month to mature the eggs, I could essentially go through some pregnancy-like symptoms, hot flashes, breast tenderness, irritability, mood swings. It's part of the process. If I'm feeling like a crazy pregnant lady, I will absolutely let you know. I'm okay with any side effect besides my hair falling out. So, Lord, I pray that does not happen. There are pros and cons to every decision. 'Tis life, so it costs. Because if it were cheap, everybody would be doing it. From what I see online, it says it's about a $10,000 to $12,000 procedure. I will not be paying that. Ladies, particularly if you work for a company of a certain caliber, this is typically covered. I'll put it like this. If you're going through this process, you're most likely a box checker. I mean, you're not perfect, I'm not saying that, but you like to do things the right way. You haven't had a child accidentally, prior to this point, intentionally. You have invested so much in becoming a model employee. Let that company invest in you and pay for this. So I will be paying $3,000 of the potential 10 to 12. I just have to hit my max deductible. And then I have to pay for storage costs. My company covers the first year of egg freezing for free. My old specialist used a company that only cost $300 something. So I'll be paying $3,000 plus the $300 something for storage. I'll probably tap into my FSA account. To be honest, even that $3,000, I'm not paying all of that because some of that will be funds where my company matched what I put into this account. And I know everyone's financial situation is different. So one person hears $3,000 and thinks that's crazy. The next person hears $3,000 and thinks that's affordable. But I just want to put it out there that that is how much it costs. We might have different perspectives on if that is a lot or a little money. But again, it goes back to how bad do you want this? This is honestly experimental in nature. It's still fairly new. A lot of people don't have experience in this, but I recognized after talking about it, literally 5 or 6 different people who are about my same age all had questions and were all curious about doing it themselves. They just didn't know anyone who had done it. Successful Black women are pigeonholed and told you can't have it all. I call bullcrap. I'm gonna have a career and a family and I'm gonna be cute with my face broke out while I'm preparing to freeze my eggs, okay? If what I share about my life doesn't do anything else, I hope that I inspire people to know they can do whatever they want to do. If you plan well, you can live the life that you want to live. You can live life on your terms. If you plan well, you can absolutely have it all. You can. So if you have a question, feel free to drop that in the comments. Also, tell me what is too much. Do y'all want to see the needle and stick in myself? Do you not want to see that? Girl, that's TMI. Just tell us about it. You ain't got to show us. Let me know. What about the process are you curious about? As always, I thank you for your support. Thank you for watching. Thank you for spending time with me today. Until next time, bye-bye.